Hi again. It's nice to see you in the studio, as we call it, because it's really not a studio. It's a very janky ass setup. There is duct tape and metal things sticking in my face, acting as a stand. Um, but I guess that's what you get when you are questionably unhinged.
Well, studio is kind of a compliment, even or rather when the Honda Legend is missing. So we missed one of our co-hosts for today.
Well, it's just the two of us, sort of intimate setting,
Well, as always,
as is tradition.
as is tradition, and intimate without being sexual.
Well,
Yeah,
we still have 48 episodes to go.
excluding this one. Yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, who knows? Maybe we will get married or something.
considering that we just started in a very peculiar way. So it's just the beginning of the installment number 2. So it's full 49 episodes left, to be technically exact.
Well, it depends if we count the pilot or not.
Well, pilot is number 1. It's
Is
always
number
is.
one. Yes. Okay. So, I'm just considering that since we are recording, it's kind of done.
Kind of what?
Kind of done.
Kind of. First step is always, the one that matters.
Yes. As some songwriter said, all the roads begin from the step of our door.
Which step?
Of our door.
Our door. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yes.
I get it. Yeah, yeah. The first step is always
But
from your home, from your door.
But considering us, um, it would probably be a difficult road with a lot of excursions into the forests and what have you.
You mean tangents?
Yes, yes. And once we would go on those tangents, we would definitely lose something, like car keys or home keys or our sanity and what have you.
Yeah, and I did edit our first one, the installment number 1, the pilot of Follow Your Other Rams. Well, that's the official thumbnail. It's already in YouTube, on YouTube. And while editing that, I have a specific topic for that and what we lost to tangents.
Yes, yes, and we've lost quite a few things. Again, as is tradition, being somewhat autistic.
Tradition for you, and that's one of the topics that I have, is you thought I did not understand your autistic trait of people not flirting to you with you. And
Yes, that was quite obvious.
I have it in my notes. I did, but I went on a tangent number 1, and I think that was probably the first tangent of the pilot. And if we trace back, what I wanted to say after my story, the story I did tell, but I didn't tell what I wanted to tell after the story, is that probably or maybe it's not the trait that people are not flirting with you, is that men in general don't understand or don't get it in general when women are flirting with them, and being autistic, and which means like you're autistic people aren't so perceptible to social cues.
Yes,
You people are not flirting with you. You're just very unlikely to notice that people are flirting with you.
exactly my point back then.
And I didn't miss it. I went on a
That's good to
tangent.
know. That's good to know.
I
That's
went
good
on a
to know.
tangent, and I never came back.
Again, as is tradition, that usually it happens when you go on a tangent.
Yeah,
Like anyone going on a tangent is tends to lose at least a few threads.
yes, and I'm quite known for going on tangents and random stories, and then forgetting what was the point.
Oh, those stories are the best. When you at the end of the story, you're like, okay, how did we end up here? And you look at the person who was telling the story, and he's as lost as you are, and that is a very special feeling of autistic camaraderie.
Camaraderie.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also a very, very awkward situation where all the parties that were participating in the tangent, or one was listening, the other was on a tangent, having a trip of his life, telling 10 different stories, which probably is a trait of ADHD, which you self-proclaimedly
Self-labeled.
Yeah, self-labeled, yeah, or
Yes.
proclaimed, self-proclaimed that you have from self-administered tests.
Well, that's one of the ways I try to be at least somewhat interesting.
Well, you are interesting enough. I will tell you. I will give you that straight from the get-go, and possibly I have that ADHD trait. I'm trying to seriously question myself if I do possess more. But I think that's a story for later times. I haven't administered ADHD tests on myself or to myself yet. That's probably happening.
I would be interesting in discussing those results.
Let's make it an episode 10. Or
Yeah.
no, let's make it a no. I withdraw that statement. Let's have it 10 subscriber special or 100 subscriber special.
Yeah, like
My self-administered ADHD test results.
Self-diagnosing for fun and profit.
Well, there is no profit on 100 subscribers, so
Yeah, but that what makes it fun.
I'm not doing that for profit. So I'm doing that either for 10 or 100, which we are yet to decide, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, one is definitely involved, and 0 as well.
Yeah, so what that makes a 2 on binary.
Yeah. So in any case,
or a 10 if it's 0 1.
If you have an idea when we should do that, please feel free to comment, and maybe we will read that.
Whatever comes first, 10th episode or 10 subscribers.
I'm optimistic. I'm unreasonably optimistic.
That is gonna happen like sooner.
Yes.
Okay, we made a deal. I will do and self-administer an ADHD test, the same that you did, probably. Do you have a fair and even ground between who's more ADHD on an official scale?
Yeah. Well, of course, that's also a bit of a trait of toxic masculinity. I think making everything a bit of a competition.
Well, is it? Yeah, I kind of see it. It might be, but probably not. Maybe toxic. I think it depends. If it's toxic or not, it depends on very, very many things.
It depends on
each
who
other.
you are as well, right? Because to some people out there, everything that is masculine can be considered toxic.
Yeah, I guess we can find people like that.
Like you have a spectrum on the right end. Let's say there is machoism. Everyone's macho, everyone's a Chad, and on the other end of the spectrum, you just discard the whole thing.
Well, there is no chats here in this garage.
No, I really would need to hit the gym at least for a year or so.
Even maybe more. I don't know how much enhancers do you take. I'm not saying that you fat or anything, but you're definitely out of shape, and you're 40.
Well, shape is a subjective thing.
Well, everything's a shape then.
Exactly. A sphere is a shape.
Yeah, a sphere and the cylinder is a shape.
Yes, some people are pear-shaped, right? That's also a shape.
Yes, and some stuff are pear-shaped.
Yes,
or stuff goes pear-shaped.
Oh, it happens more often than it doesn't.
Stuff going pear-shaped.
Yes, for some reason, I'm being haunted by the shapes of the pear.
Well, me too. You want to hear a story of my recent life or corporate adventures that I'm possessing or having at the moment?
Okay, everyone, we are going on a trip.
Oh yeah, I am one step away of resigning on the spot in my company.
That's normal.
No, I already found the step. I went into our HR system just to find the step. I'm actively searching for a job and I'm accepting lower offers of salary than I'm having now. And it's just because I made some bad choices, 3 years ago, of going into product.
Okay, this is a chess story.
Yes, I wanted a career. I was a successful and very good performing automation lead, tinkering and doing everything hands on and on my own. And I thought, and at that time, I thought, well, I could have a better salary in product. I could do more stuff that matters. I could have more impact. I failed to consider that there is way more politics, way more agendas, way more people that don't appreciate anything that you do.
Hmm. Sounds like a nurturing environment.
Yes. And that I didn't know. And now every time my friends or colleagues say like, how is it in product? Should I go there? Like, nope. I even conceived the list of the personality you have to be to succeed in product.
Okay, and what would that be?
The personality?
Yes.
I think I will need to remember that. So bear with me here. But I boiled it down to 5 personality traits that could succeed in product management or IT product management.
Do you need to be psychotic?
No. On that terms, you have to believe in yourself in a way that you are probably narcissistic person.
Yes. A
Like
strong ego.
very strong ego. Like you have to be the person that wins the argument every time. And you are on that topic, if you have to believe in yourself in a narcissistic way, and nothing is smarter, better, or knows product better than you, even though you know nothing.
Okay, so projecting confidence. It's called projecting confidence.
No, it's narcissistic. Being some kind of narcissistic on a spectrum, as everything is on the spectrum. On self-administered tests, you are on 2 spectrums.
Well, I can always do more tests, but please continue.
Well, let's leave it for the episode number 100 or 100 subscriber specials, whichever comes first. More tests administered by you.
To yourself?
Yes, DIY, psychology, psychiatry.
Yes, like I mean, we're doing a lot of things here in a very DIY way.
Yes.
Yes. So far we have been successful, so I don't see any reason why the tests shouldn't be. But we were talking about those personality traits.
Yes. So
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna keep you on the rail because otherwise you will go into the woods and we will never see the end of the personality list ever.
yes. So narcissistic,
Yes,
charismatic. You have to project
that makes
charisma
sense.
because
Yes, you have to be liked by everyone.
Yes, you have to be liked by everyone. You
Yeah.
have to convince people to follow you from the edge of a cliff. Like
Yeah.
you have to have that. You have to believe in you and yourself and your product in obscene ways. Like obscene ways. If you want to
Yes,
succeed
like
there.
you have the product and you lay with it in the bed every evening. You know it intimately, and probably you have sexual relations with it.
Yeah, most likely.
Yes.
And then it's in a way that you will convince everybody that it is correct to do so.
Yes.
And my product is going to do that.
And
that will be fine.
Trust me, guys, this is the right hole. We're going in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, but it's burning. and the ceiling is crumbling. And you say, no, I know the way. I've been this way 10,000 times. And it's always led me to correct ways. Like being opposite of Gandalf going to Moria.
Yeah. I have definitely been here. I remember everything.
Yes. And we're going to go there.
Yes.
Even though it's burning, it's crumbling, and there are people are running away from it. And that level of charisma. And that's why I say you have to be narcissistic to believe yourself like that. And then you're charismatic to convince people to go like that. You have to be very extroverted because you will be dealing with people. Or you have to have very good social skills, even if you are kind of introverted. But, or have, I don't know, very big support way. You live alone with a cat. You don't need to talk with anybody at the end of the day, kind of way. Because there will be days like that where I don't want to have anybody near me.
Okay.
Then you have to be on intelligence level way or quite more, have a bit bigger IQ, quite more than average.
Or at
Like,
least, pretend.
no, that will burn you, I think,
It hasn't burned me so far.
when you're not a product manager.
Oh, but I'll reflect on that later on. Please continue.
Yeah. So you have to be, have to IQ bigger than average. Like, I think 90 IQ will get you ways, but it'll not make you happy, especially if you don't possess any of the three below. And then you have to be very, very determined.
I can see myself struggling with that last point, and I'm saying this to tell you that I understand
And I think
intimately.
the last one is the most important one.
Like in every fucking thing.
No, but I mean, like, if you lack intelligence, or not lack, if you are average or some guy a bit below, like, I don't mean like having a disability or something, like 80, 85, or anything like that.
He's in 98, let's say, slightly below average.
Yeah, if you're slightly below average and you're determined and you're hardworking and you can put in 10 to 12 hours a day,
Like success is 90% perspiration and 10% inspiration, something like that.
yes, but then
You can power through.
yeah, for how long? 2 years, 3 years, 4
Well,
years? Can you have a career from that? Will you be happy?
Having a lower IQ really helps. Really helps. Like, you're more resilient. You can do the same stuff day by day.
No, I mean, like, if it's only the AQ, you're kind of good. You will power through. You're charismatic. People will believe you. You have your way kind of easier on that. But if you don't possess at least 2 or 3, well, I would say 3 or 2 or 2.5 of these traits, you're gonna have a hard time, and you're gonna be demotivated. You're not gonna find a purpose. There will be too many politics, too many stakeholders, too much things happening around your back. You will hear stuff about you or your team, your product in the corridors, in the hallways, without people actually telling to you. Your managers will not tell you that because they are not privy to share that information because it's not decided, but people talk. And I'm in that situation. Like, my team is getting shrunken. It's gonna lose half of its members. You know what my stakeholders are saying? They're saying the C-level decided that it's gonna be the main channel. Like, my product will be the main channel.
Okay, that
for
makes
all
sense.
the customers. I
It makes
have
sense. You have a very important part of the system, whatever it might be, and your team is getting shrunk. That is definitely not a mixed message.
Yeah, definitely no.
No.
And I don't know that. Like, officially, I'm driving
officially
on
nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening. Nothing's changing.
Yeah.
I officially, I only know there is a discussion about the budgets.
There was
And now
this,
I know that I will have one front end guy, one back end guy, half of a scrum master, and half of a QA.
Well, that sounds like a strong team.
You know what the other main channel? How many people the team? How big the team is?
I'm guessing 10 people in total,
or even maybe more,
or even maybe more.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
They are also don't like me. They don't have an analyst.
Do you actually feel gaslighted there? Because that sounds like gaslighting.
What exactly? Which part?
Like telling you that everything's fine. You're holding a very important thing in your hands. Why all the meanwhile cutting fingers off.
Exactly my point. Like, there is, and you see, if you're not narcissistic nor charismatic, you're gonna have a bad time here because you're being told one thing, the other thing is happening.
Yep.
You have to drive your product.
Yep.
You have a bunch of stakeholders on your head saying, like, you have to do it. It must be done, and it's a main channel, and customers will be using that, and the C-level is expecting these and these results from us, from the stakeholders, and from the product that they have.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the IT side, the guys that don't work with the product but actually work with staffing the IT and managing the IT guys, like developers, QA,
and what have you. Yeah.
Yeah, and what have you, they are making decisions that will drastically impact my job and my delivery, which I'm not privy to nor aware of. On top of that, I don't have an analyst, and I'm driving technical implementations. I'm driving customer features that has to be done. I'm working in a complex environment in a big technology company that has a very complex backend structure and features and products that they sell.
Yeah.
That need a lot of integration. Like there are, and
Well,
I kid you not,
shit's complex.
yeah, like
Let's
I kid
have
you
it
not,
at that.
I think there are 20 different product owners and IT teams.
That's big.
That's big.
That's big.
That's very big.
In any way, I really appreciate the position that you are in. Like, and not in the way that, oh, that's beautiful and that's great. But I do understand in an intimate way the situation you're in. And this is where my reflection comes in.
Before that,
Okay, I will keep that.
yeah. In previous installment or episode, I'm going to call them installments. I don't like episodes. In previous installment, we discussed
I'm
about.
sorry, I'm just going to interject. Like, episode sounds like something you have, right? You have an episode of migraine, for
No,
example.
episode is something you have.
Oh, no. Well, yes, but also no.
Yes, but also no.
Okay, so let's gently steer away from that.
From
Okay.
the episode, yeah. Installments.
Yes.
Installments they are.
Yes, I'm having installments.
No, you're having episodes.
At times in my life, I'm having an installment of something.
No, wait.
That's for installment 9 or something.
Okay. Because we have installments, you have episodes. Let's agree on the terms.
Okay.
We have
installments. Fair enough.
You or me. I sure did had episodes in my life. I don't have a vaccine or or a drug that cures episodes. I had them, and I probably will have them. I have venting episodes quite constantly.
I think everyone has episodes.
Yeah, yeah. So, but what I wanted to say,
yeah, exactly.
We talked about the company that we met.
Yeah,
and I now described 5 of what I think traits that you have to possess to be a successful product owner / product manager.
Yes.
Does it remind you of anybody?
Of course it does.
Yes.
It's like in Star Wars. Of course I know him. That's me.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about product managers, or one in particular.
But the thing,
and you would imagine, like, what's my point here is that.
Okay, I know the person you're talking about.
Yeah, these traits. What do they make you?
Well, I found him approachable.
Approachable, yes, but a master of bullshit.
Then again, I think the key word in here is not product. It's probably manager. Because the traits you described are the traits of a successful manager. You have to be fluent in politics. You have to lead the team in the way that they will follow you through fire. You have to have this confidence and you have to understand things. So all of those traits you mentioned are the traits of a manager.
The manager, I think I would not agree fully here, because the manager will possess most or all of these traits, but managers are never narcissistic. And managers
I would disagree with that.
No, I mean good managers.
Good manager. That's another thing. Yes.
Like, good manager is never narcissistic, and good manager is a leader, is a mentor. Like, you have to like to mentor people, have to like to teach them. Like a good manager, I think a good manager is the same traits that makes a person a good father or good mother.
Yes, I see where you're coming from, and I agree.
And these traits that I describe does not fall into the traits of a good father or good mother or a parent.
Well, you have to have at least some of them.
Because for being a manager, you have to be empathic.
True.
You have to be nurturing.
True.
You have to be emotionally intelligent.
Of course.
Like, these are like musts for a good manager.
Yes, that is true.
And
That is
then
true.
you have to be a good like
But
manager,
you
as in you
also,
manage.
you're looking from at it from another side, right? You're looking from the team side. But in order to survive in a corporate environment, in order to navigate it, you have to have similar traits as people around you do. So if you have a successful product manager, you also have to know how to work with him or her or them.
No, I mean like politics, like, and I think that's very, very unhinged. And I think where corporate stuff in 21st century is evolving or changing, or not even evolving, mutating into what's very not a healthy uh, work environment.
I would say it depends on
I
the place that you work at.
Yeah, but in general, I think the trend is to mangle the corporate structure, or not, culture maybe, but to evolve it in a way that is mainly politics
Mm.
and less doing. Like there is only, like, mainly there are people with agendas and not people that truly want to do stuff or take pride in their work. That people are making careers, and I think also that's a way of like who's getting hired and who's not, and what kind of culture there is. And because if you're a good communicator and you have and you're a bit of a snake or a lizard,
Yeah,
you
yeah, a
slide around
slithery
thing,
guy.
slithery guy,
Yeah,
and you know how to, and you're a good seller, and you know how to sell your story, and that you did stuff. Maybe you didn't, maybe you did, but everything that you touch, it's gold, or like, yeah, do
um,
that, and then you play
everyone
the
loves a
games.
good story. Everyone loves a good story.
And I think people aren't, or higher managers are not seeing that, and they are making wrong decisions, and people like that are being promoted instead of being taught a lesson.
Well, to be fair, I think there was a study or something of C-level executives, and a lot of them exhibited uh, sociopathic tendencies.
Yes, but that's CEOs.
That's C-level is C-level.
Well, it depends, but mainly it was done on CEOs
Yes.
and on a big investment firm CEOs in Wall Street. And knowing that environment, like big corporate, like
Yeah.
it's not our level, like we are village people here compared to like Manhattan, New York, financial market.
Which one of the village people are you?
I'm
Yeah.
I'm probably a townsful, or the third brother that doesn't succeed in anything, kind of
No, I mean,
stumbles through
I
life.
mean, I what I meant was, the song YMCA. Like I would be
Oh,
I
those
would be
ones.
the leathery guy. That's that's taken.
The Native American?
No,
Oh
no,
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 the
no, no.
policeman.
Yeah.
You, well, somehow I see why I see why you would be the leather covered policeman.
Yep. Yep.
I would be I don't know, the construction guy.
Oh,
No, I'm not
nice.
that buff actually.
Oh, but
No,
that's
no,
a
no.
nice image.
What else? There was an African American, not African American. There was a Native American.
Yeah.
Police guy.
Yeah.
Construction guy.
Yep. You're remembering
What's
things
the
way
other
better
two?
than me.
What's the other two? Firefighter? No, that's a strip dancers.
Taylor?
Sailor, yeah, probably a sailor. I would be a sailor.
Oh,
Even
you
though
would like
that
to be in the Navy?
no, I have a dream. Well, did it had a like African American guy?
I think they should have.
No, you think they should have like
That would
it's
be nice of
80s.
them.
It's
Yeah.
80s though.
What? So, dark-skinned guys didn't exist in the 80s?
They did, but the racism was way bigger at that point.
Also, we had, like, African Americans in the music industry, like, prominent ones.
Yeah, I know, and I love their music. I love that music, like funky, jazzy.
I've recently found my love in soul. I have never listened to soul before, and there was this British guy, Michael Kiwanuka. He's coming to perform live, and
Here
yeah,
in our local village,
yep,
post-Soviet bloc country.
yep. So we have a bit of culture. So I was listening to that to his eponymous album Kiwanuka, and that was the first time I understood the appeal of soul. Like, it really spoke to me, and I definitely recommend the album.
Yeah, shoot me a link. I will definitely listen to that. I'm not much of a fan of a soul music, I guess. I like jazz. I like blues. I used to attend a festival in our country
Oh,
for
I
that
know that.
music.
I know that one. I hitchhiked from there once. I
Mm.
hitchhiked there and back. That was my first and only hitchhiking experience.
Well,
I have been a very indoors guy.
yeah, me too. But getting back on the topic of what we did lose on the tangents, or I did and you did.
Yeah,
I'm not the only one
yeah.
at fault here.
I'm pretty sure we just lost something in the tangent.
You did. You wanted to say a story, and you thankfully forgot. That was about product management, I believe, or something like that. Tell me.
It was just a reflection, and I kind of already told you my point. We discussed on that.
Oh, that's managers.
Yeah,
Okay.
managers. Yeah.
What else we lost? And it's a funny fact about us. We did talk like how we met, and that we at some point in our seedling friendship, part of our friendship, we did go to smoke outside quite a lot. And then we used to
Yes.
talk about the therapists. Well, like
Yes.
what your therapist said to you, what mine said to
Yeah.
me.
Oh,
like,
that's a funny thing. That's a funny thing.
that is a funny thing.
That is a funny thing.
The quick recap is then I left the company, and I spent some time recouping from a burnout. I didn't have a job, and then I found a job in like 5 months or so. Thank you, Social Security. I couldn't afford that in USA because for 5 months I was paid out a salary which was not very big, but enough to sustain me, to pay my rent, to pay my bills, and to buy me food. For 5 months,
you don't really afford a lot of things in the US these days, from what I've heard.
we have freedom too.
Beside that, I've seen a CBNS or something CBS link, CBS article, which said that consumers are looking towards buying or renting chickens.
Yes, I heard that too, because the egg prices are so high.
Yeah, that's
for
crazy.
some reason. I don't know
That's
why.
crazy.
Actually.
I mean, like you have a chicken, it lays eggs daily, and somehow you have a shortage of eggs.
Not shortage of eggs. I think
What's happening? Avian flu?
I'm not really sure, but I think their economy is just having ripple effect from everything that's happening. And to be like to break the fourth wall, this episode probably is coming like 2 weeks. Its production time is around 2 weeks.
Yeah, we might be in a very different place.
A very different place, and this might be an old news. But considering that, I think somehow like but it's quite for a long time. I think it has to do something with an avian flu, and also the ripple effects on economics in general for them. But yeah, renting a chicken, Uber chickens. No, Uber chicken sounds vaguely German and very bad.
Oh no.
Not Uber, Bolt chickens. That's Bolt chickens.
Bolt chickens.
Yes, and for people not in Europe, Bolt is same as Uber.
You can take a loan to rent a chicken. That's unhinged.
Shark loans.
That's unhinged.
That is unhinged. It's not even questionably unhinged. No, it's not. It's not unhinged. It's not unhinged. It's insane. That's one level up.
Yes, batshit crazy.
Batshit crazy. Yes.
Yeah.
Or bad egg crazy. So for 5 months, you know what I did for the first 2 months?
I don't know.
I slept well. I drank coffee in the mornings while watching a Twin Peaks first 2 seasons. And then I went to bars, I met friends, I watched YouTube, I watched TV series, and I went to sleep. For 2 months, I didn't worry about a job. I maybe spent, oh, I had a role. I spent 1 hour a day on LinkedIn looking for jobs.
Hmm.
And after 4.5 months, something like that, I found a job. The company sucked really, really bad,
As tradition.
as is tradition, but not like that. You know what? I think my ex manager or some of the stakeholders or some kind of a stakeholder, I don't know who, I don't know when, but I know one thing. You know what they did or what they did?
Please tell me.
They reached out to my current manager to give the feedback without consent.
What the actual? That's
Exactly.
crazy. That's
That is.
crazy. That's crazy.
You know how I know that?
You got told
My
by a third
manager
party?
said to my colleague, she is a peer to me, and then she told me that somebody from my previous company reached out to our manager to give a feedback about me. My manager never told me this story, and I'm not sure if that's a correct decision or wrong decision. I wanted to, like, either way, like, it kind of doesn't matter because from what I see, didn't take that feedback. And I know it's not a good feedback. You know why?
Let me guess here. So probably the attitude towards you changed.
No, for one, nobody reached out without consent to give a good feedback to somebody's manager without telling.
I have been living in a dream world.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah, nobody does that. Well, they might, like, do you need a feedback? I can give it to your manager because you did a great job. Way you go. Tap on the back.
Yeah.
But if you don't ask for it and then you give feedback, it's probably not good. The chances are it's not a good feedback. The other thing is, the people in that company asked me again and again and again, where am I going? And I'm smart enough to not tell them. I was smart enough to not tell them. I told maybe 2 people.
Mm.
Okay, I told 3 people.
Mm.
One and I don't trust any of them completely, but I know that this feedback most likely came before I changed my LinkedIn company because I waited for 4 months to not show on LinkedIn where I work because I know in what culture I was working. And apparently I was correct.
That's crazy.
Imagine that feedback came on my probation period.
Well, you always take feedback with a grain of salt, especially a negative one. So, it could have gone anyway.
Look, but normal company, normal corporate structure, if somebody reaches out to you, like, it's very red lights, it's red flags. Like,
Yes.
something really must have went to shit.
I don't recall anything going, that bad. But
yeah, and you know what?
Apparently somebody thought that things were going to shit.
You know why? I gave too much honest feedback. Like, the stuff it's not working and you have a toxic culture.
Again, politics. Politics, dude.
Yeah. No, but the feedback was also not a politics one. Some of the feedback. I said you need to do something in your IT department because it's really racist and homophobic.
Have you okay.
I said, and I quote myself here, every one of the IT department workers needs to have inclusion trainings mandatory and in attendance from a professional for racism, what is racism and what is homophobic. That's how bad the situation was.
It's hard to believe we worked at the same company.
I'm not talking about the company that we worked.
Oh,
I'm talking the company that I joined.
Yeah.
But I actually have a corporate vendetta. And it's very, very surreal feeling. I remember when...
That's Kafkaesque.
Yes. And that's very, very surreal.
That is surreal. That is surreal.
So yeah, coming to the feedback, like the company was so bad, like or that department, that I said that they need mandatory training in person for inclusion and understanding what is racism and what is homophobia. They didn't have sexism, however. I never
Oh,
noticed that. That's a very strange thing.
that's that's endearing.
Yeah, like
I mean, like, okay,
talk about unhinged stuff.
Shit's on fire. Shit's on fire. There's this shit on fire. This shit on fire. However, this shit is great.
Yeah,
This shit is doing really good.
it seems like it's nurtured and it's growing. Like the flower that's growing there, it's bright, it's colorful, it's big.
And you're just sitting there, coffee cup in hand, and saying, "Oh, this is fine. This is fine.
This is fine." Exactly.
Yes.
So that feedback came. I heard it in corridors, but fun times. Also, therapists.
Therapists.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Back to that funny story.
Yeah, back to that funny story.
Okay. So just a bit of a spoiler of the story ahead. You have these stories of people have lovers in different cities, like and suddenly, both of the people in the relationship suddenly find out they're dating the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what happened.
Like, long story short,
Yes.
we talked about this. 1.5 years passes.
Yes.
We meet in the garage,
Yes.
and you're looking to swap a therapist.
Yes.
And I say, I'm going to recommend you one.
Ah,
She's a very good one. I
Yes.
liked and enjoy it.
yes.
And you say her name. And you say that she's your previous therapist.
Yes,
for-
that was surreal.
For 2 years, we were going to the same therapist without
Yes.
knowing.
And sharing, my therapist said.
Yeah. My therapist said that. Your therapist said that. It's
Yeah.
the same fucking therapist.
I mean, it's just
And it's kind of a big city that we live in. There are a lot of therapists here.
well, I think, half of the company we worked at was going to.
Well, I did my
What's
fair
up?
share. I probably recommended that therapist to 3 or 4 people.
Word of mouth. That's how I got
I definitely
her,
did
her
recommend it.
name. Yeah? Yeah, she was pretty great.
She
For
is.
a time.
She is.
For
Still,
a time.
I'm not going there anymore. Like, I'm on a break. I'm trying to live without hand holding. It's going great, actually.
I'm glad to hear that.
That's a way too long of a pause.
Yeah, I was just reflecting, about that hand holding.
Or
Because
like, I might have been harsh. Like, if you're still attending therapy, you're like
yeah, well, I am.
it's
I am
not
still
that you're-
attending. I'm still attending.
I
Therapy.
didn't mean it like that you need a hand holding in your life. I mean, like, I don't.
Thank you. Somehow you made it worse.
Did I?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You
I
did,
didn't
but
mean
that's, that's fine. That's fine. That's on me, because that's my self reflection. Am I perceiving this therapy as hand holding or not? Right? Because I can perceive that as, as I usually do. I perceive that as a self improvement tool.
Yeah, me too. But for me, I reflect on it as more of at least the first year was a lot of hand holding that I asked to have it, like I needed it.
Yeah.
Like, long story short, I went to therapy because my life was crumbling apart really, really badly.
That's relatable.
Yeah.
I have gone through several crises since we met, and you know that.
Yeah, I know some of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably not all, but I know quite a few. So I'm
Yeah,
thankful that you
so
shared.
we will just afterwards, because that's not installments is not.
It's episodes, not installments. No, I mean,
There's-
like to say,
We're
what you're gonna
talking
tell is about your,
outside the installments.
yes,
So
about the episodes.
I will tell you about the crisis that you missed somehow.
Well, yeah, I'm very grateful that you do share the crisis or crises with me. Like it's really nice to have you share them, and I really appreciate them.
Well,
I
that's
appreciate
trust
you
for you.
sharing, yeah,
That's trustful.
and I take it dearly to my heart. But at that point, I was kind of in, yeah, well, I wasn't kind of, I was fully in crisis mode. Basically, my whole life, and I will share it. It's fine. Um, my whole life was kind of crumbling apart, and I'm separating my long-term girlfriend at that point. We probably spent 6 years. We lived together, and the relationship, looking back, was doomed. But and it imploded basically.
That happens.
Moreover, on top of that, I'm suffering a burnout, or I'm starting to suffer a burnout symptoms
Yep.
because the burnout is coming. Because of the workload, because I didn't got like good teaching on how to do my job, like I was thrown in, and
Yeah.
somehow it was projected to me as a uh, path of right, you know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
all
Passage. Rite of passage.
rite of passage. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like,
Sink or
well,
swim.
yeah, and like it's fine. Like all the product managers go through this, and exactly like CMS implementation, and I'm more of a backendy guy. I'm not a developer, but I'm driving more in the backends of the software. Some native API integrations. I can do automation. I can do basics of C sharp. Um, so I'm kind of backendy, and then I'm kind of thrown into front end full in, not knowing anything. Like that's the project that we need. That's a 600,000 or 300,000 budget that
Yeah.
we have. Go
That
do
sounds
that.
sounds like the deep end.
Yeah, and how long do I have? Like 3 months. Okay, I need to understand it, then I need to know it, then I need to find it, then I need to implement it, and like I'm suffering at that point. It's probably what 4 months in, the project is already happening. I'm suffering badly. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm on a crisis mode. I'm only doing what needs to be done. I don't have like capacity for everything else. My point of coping and helping myself was I was giving myself 30 minutes to stress out freely at my desk and then go work. Basically a man equivalent of women, or like because they do it more, going to the bathroom and crying for 20 minutes and then coming back to work.
Yep. That reminds me of a tweet or whatever you call blue sky messages. Like I saw this short story from someone on the internet. Like the guy next to me, set his timer for 15 minutes, cried for those 15 minutes, and then just got back to work as if nothing's happened. And the first reply is, "That's called time management, Susan."
Yeah, exactly, and that's like toxic masculinity, probably, or trauma. That's especially prevalent in our country, and I'm suffering really hard at that point. Like I had a panic attack. I never had a panic attack in my life before, and I had it in a very peculiar way. I came from the public transport, went to the office building, and I couldn't go through a foyer door. I stepped, the door opened, but there was a glass door in between me and the entrance. I stopped, I froze, my heart started beating. I started
like dying.
No, it was very minor war. I didn't felt like dying. I felt overwhelmed by stress, by fear. No, not stress, fear. And the fear was so overwhelming that I couldn't move. I couldn't step through the door.
Yeah, you froze.
I froze, and there was a cold sweat. My heart's beating. I cannot go further. I step few steps back. I look at the door again, and I'm saying to myself, well, what's happening? I don't understand this. I need to go. And then I freeze again. And then my brain ticks, the bell rings, and I go back. I sit on the curb. I smoke 3 cigarettes, and I'm understanding at that point that things are going fuck all. I'm not controlling my life.
That's a good point to realize that you need therapy.
At that point, I understood, or was very afraid of, that it was the first time probably not the first time, but it was the first time that I really understood that I don't have my life under control. That's the first time in my life I understand that I'm losing control over myself, and it's a very jarring experience. And then after three cigarettes, I tell to myself, I need to step through that door because I need to go to work and I have to do it. And I'm really thankful to myself because I did. I did kind of went over that fear that I had. And it's very, it's a very, or quite a bit different for me. I have military experience. I
Mhm.
never went overseas. I never fought in a war. No, nothing. But I spent quite some time in the military. And being afraid to step through the door is a times two multiplier for a jarring feel that you cannot step through the door. That same day, I went and asked for a therapist. And I wrote an email
Mm.
and I reached out because I couldn't, I knew that at that point, I don't have control and I need somebody to help me regain control over my life.
Well, that really sounds like a crisis.
Yeah, it was.
And
And that's a hand
it's
holding. Like I needed hand holding. She hand holding me through the whole stressful burnout situation through work. So I could continue working and not go fully into burnout and actually help me to reduce the burnout symptoms. So I never had like a clinical burnout because of her. Because apparently it was a very good timing to reach out to not have a full clinical burnout. And I needed hand holding. And because I separated, so some time passed, the therapy takes time. I needed hand holding for dating.
oh, I think that
I
hand
needed,
holding.
we talked about dating and what I'm going to
Yeah.
do on a date, what I'm going to say, like how I need to react and all the stuff. Like it was pure full hand holding. Like I needed that.
Well, that's just extreme support,
Or hand holding.
because hand holding has a negative connotation.
Well, it's just a connotation. Depends how you like how you view it. Somebody might view it as
That
a
is,
negative. I
yeah,
don't view it as a
that's
negative.
also a trait of toxic masculinity.
Well, no, I mean it's okay. You hold your hands with the heel front. You help each other. It's hand holding. It's okay. It's fine.
Okay,
It's toxic masculinity to think that hand holding is bad.
something shameful.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true.
mm, because I don't see the connotation there.
In any case, so same therapist, kind of similar problems. I have had panic attacks way before then. I'm deeply familiar with the feeling of dread when you look at the path that you have to take and being unable to move. So that's very, very relatable. And I'm glad that you overcame this,
Well,
or at
it's
least got out of the state that you were in.
well, it never happened again. It's not a problem, I guess. It was really, really stressful, and I didn't had any tools to deal with that. But now, like 2.5 years after I stopped going to therapy, I'm not being handheld anymore. I managed to get myself a girlfriend and having a good, really good relationship there. And I'm dealing with work stress is way better. So I had a company that have a vendetta on me, apparently, and I quit that company with held up high. Well, and I gave feedback that it's wrong, and if most of the thing that you're doing is wrong, and you're really toxic because they were, and I left to the other company, which is way better than the previous one, but it has way too many politics and way too many bullshit jobs and bullshit professions and bullshit processes, and everything is bullshit. So I'm looking for another one.
To be fair,
Well, actually, I'm looking
I'm
to not work in a product anymore.
well, I'm looking to not work anymore. But that
That's good if you
that
can
that
afford
being
that.
that being aside, I was just thinking that we should call this installment "Burning the Bridges and Foregoing Sponsorship." If if anyone finds out the names of the companies of that we were talking about today, is it's gonna burn us.
Well, I have a goal. Like, if this leads to, I don't know, some kind of money that I kind of don't need to work anymore in product or in
and
corporate,
and, and just smoke cigars.
I'm burning those no, like average salary. I'm burning
Well,
those
cigars are
bridges.
not that
You know what?
expensive.
I had a very unhinged dream about
Okay.
that company. Not the currently the work one, the one that has a vendetta and is toxic and homophobic and full of crap and face culture and only facade of really, being woke and good and like DEI and stuff, which is completely bullshit. I
Yeah.
had a dream. I had a dream about the CTO. And mind you, I didn't have too many interactions with the CTO. Well, she wasn't technically a CTO. She was a IT department manager and a
Yeah.
kind of acting CTO.
Yeah.
Because the department is around like, I don't know, 80 people or something. And I had a dream that I was on Teams call with her. And that I'm really not working for them. I'm working the company that I'm working now. And
Yeah.
somehow we were having a Teams call. And I said to her, you know yourself that you are incompetent bastard that doesn't know how to do anything and you're just corporate suck off. Because that's what I think about her. Like genuinely. But I had the dream. I woke up and like I'm thinking that it was so much to reality, that dream, that I'm thinking, laying in bed awake in the morning, like thinking, damn it, why did I burn that bridge so badly? How I need to go to work. I shouldn't have burned that bridge. I shouldn't tell that to people hearing like out loud when other people hear, because that dream had other people in the Teams call.
Mm.
And I'm like, it's so vivid that when I'm woken up now, and I still like, it's 2 minutes after I woke up, and I'm still thinking, I'm still there. Like, I think it's real. And for I think 5 minutes or so, while laying in bed, I thought it was real. And I'm thinking to myself, why did I do that?
Yeah, that would definitely burn some bridges. That
But I would love it so much. That bridge in particular.
do you need a match?
Well, if I have an opportunity, I will invite you to hold the box of the matches where I will light it up.
100,000 subscriber special.
Yeah, 100,000 special.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah.
disclosing the company and the names and
Yeah.
the stories.
Letting the world know.
Yes.
Yes.
Even maybe with a LinkedIn post.
Naturally. Like
It,
going
it
two
will,
middle fingers up.
it will be a bleep gate.
Oh, that would. Yes. Scandalous.
Scandalous. Yes.
Yeah, that's a nice dream.
And we will call it an episode that bleep gate.
That installment. We're having episodes.
That might be a overlap between episodes and installments. That will be my own episode in our installment.
Yep. I suppose in that case I would have to take the role of a babysitter,
with matches.
With matches, a babysitter with matches.
Yes,
and some gasoline.
Go grow up, be a man.
Yeah, do it. You can do it.
Yes, like this Soviet coach, or like of a basketball or football. Hey, drunk, you go and do that.
You know you can. Yes.
Exactly. Don't be a pussy. Go and do that. Like I see it like from kind of Soviet unhinged, drunkard sports coach.
I don't really drink. You know that.
No, I know, but the persona.
I would for that episode, I would take a half a liter of vodka and drink it alone. In support of you.
That's a deal. 100,000
subscribers. I'm drinking. I haven't been drinking for like 20 years, let's say. Okay, 15 years, something in between, right? But I would get drunk for that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't want you to do the sacrifice, but I appreciate the thought.
That would be a sacrifice. You would see me shit-faced, and that's a spectacle. That used to be a spectacle. That some crazy shit would happen when I got drunk, and that's one of the reasons why I stopped drinking, because one morning I wake up, and my girlfriend of that time, is sitting beside the bed crying. That's the first thing I see when I wake up. Right? It's a gray morning.
That's a very
There
kind of
has been a party where I was urinating in the. You had in Soviet blocks, you had those shafts where you
the
would
trash
throw
shaft.
trash.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the trash shaft. So I'm urinating into the trash shaft, and my friend is urinating as well, and our streams cross. The splashes. And I'm telling him, don't get your piss on me, you bastard. So that kind of a party, and I wake up, she's crying. I don't know why. I go to the other room, and everyone's just looking at me. The friendliest people yesterday are looking at me with huge frowns, like, you really fed up, man. You really up. And I don't remember a single thing after the urination episode. So that was the point when I thought, that's probably, as I was piecing the story together, from people that would still talk to me afterwards, like parts like, you know, it's all right that you threw up in the bathroom. That's fine. That's fine, but
Oh,
you
that's a
shouldn't.
that's a place where you should.
But you shouldn't have tried to take care of the vomit. Right? That was a bad thing to do. You shouldn't have done that. Everybody likes you less for that. Like, that's one part that I'm getting told, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should do something about my drinking. Because I'm going places that are not really good for me or anybody for that matter, and that's the point when I stop drinking it in the late 2000s.
Well, you're leaving. I feel that you're leaving so many tasty details from that story. But it's okay. We cannot share. We you might not want to share it publicly.
Eventually,
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 yeah,
eventually, I have a lot of terrible stories, which make me think, holy fuck, I was stupid.
yeah. But that's that's
Like,
one of
how did I even survive?
yeah. But that's what we do. Like we are a very drinking country thanks to the occupation years
And before that,
and the Soviet culture. No, but that's
and
what's
the
really really bad.
Tsarist Russia.
Yeah, Tsar Russia, Soviet occupation, and we
Yeah,
know like it's a fact that they used alcohol for mass control.
it's cheap to produce. It's fun to drink.
No, it always
And
was state subsidized.
always,
Yes, and because
always.
it was a political decision to have your countrymen drunk because they are easier to control in that way.
Yeah,
You only need bread and you only need vodka
yeah.
to
Like,
control the
the
masses.
circuses happen on themselves,
Yes,
so
and
that's taken care of.
and that's a very big inheritance of the Soviet or Tsar Russia culture, for that matter. Even at this point in time,
Like, at this
there
point in
is
time, there's significant improvement.
no for us. Yes, we're still heavy drinkers, and when we were teenagers, well, I was a kid
Like,
when you were a teenager, but
okay,
let's call
yeah,
it when we were teenagers or our grow up times. The drinking culture for underage people was really nothing that anybody bat an eye to.
like,
Like it was
you're
normal.
14, try a beer.
Yeah, and then we're 13. Let's go ask a dude near the shop who is allowed to buy alcohol to buy it for us. And
Yeah,
they did, and it was okay. Well,
yeah.
the
It's
kids
like,
want to drink. It's
let
fine.
the boys be boys.
Yeah, or not even
Yeah.
the boys, like or the
Like,
girls. We used to drink with the girls, which was
oh, the
liberal
girls
for
would
our
would
time.
would drink, like, they would go crazy, man.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the teenagers, for most of our age people, were half drunk.
Yes. Yes. Like, it was, it
We
was understandable that you took a beer and you got behind the wheel.
Oh yeah, for grown-ups, yeah, it was quite normal to drunk drive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everyone kind of knew their limits, right? So if you get caught, you do a field test,
Or
right?
breathalyzer test, yeah.
You're below the limit. I know that myself. I know that my limit used to be 2 bottles of beer. Afterwards, I wouldn't drive. Like 2 beers are okay. That's 0 point something something
Yeah,
blood
probably,
alcohol
oh, yeah, point
content.
3,
Yeah,
probably, something like that. And
something like
legal
that.
limit is 0.4.
Yeah. Point actually 2 beers would give me 0.39.
Exactly under.
exactly.
Und exactly.
yes, yes. So like very German strict.
Yes, and
Yeah,
like I never drunk driven, and I have a zero tolerance policy for myself.
that's also what I have because
One glass of
times
champagne,
times
one glass of wine,
times
a
have
half a
changed.
sip of beer. I do zero policy, even though like I know I'm fine, and I know that for a fact on myself. One day I might drink 3 beers, I will be completely fine. One time
Mm-hmm.
we'll drink half a beer and I'll be like feel intoxicated.
Yeah,
And for me, the step between like feeling intoxicated and drinking, like I really feel that like it's fast for me, the threshold. I
yeah.
can be above the threshold, not shit faced and like tipsy and funny and having a good time for a long time. And I kind of mastered the trade. I know how to pace myself in parties to not be shit faced and to never lose my memory. But that's a different story. But
Well,
what
that's an art in itself to drink to the point where you lose the
responsibly,
memory.
like, yeah, but it's not
That's
that
happened
hard.
twice in my life.
Probably 3 or 2 times, yeah, for me too. And I was in dormitories while studying, so that's quite okay, normal,
Yeah,
like
once
young and stupid.
that party, with the crying girlfriend, and once on my 25th, we were on an island, and we had an abundance of whiskey, and one of the drinkers who would say, I'm drinking this whiskey with you, just quit. So we are one person down, and we have enough for way, way more than enough for ourselves. So that people tell people tell me that apparently I went to sleep in my tent, and before I don't remember that before going into the tent, I would look around with completely blank expression, completely blank eyes. There's nothing behind those eyes, and would say more brains, and go to sleep. So that was a fun occurrence. That was the first time I threw up on the boat,
Like rowboat or
like a
speedboat.
inflatable boat.
Oh, okay. That's
Like
fun.
I'm going through the lake. There are birds singing, and sun rising. There is slight mist on the top of the lake. It's summer. It's warm. It's very nice. It's very quiet, and I'm just going on the lake. On the lake, that was an experience.
Oh, I bet it was. Like, yeah, and remember, like, if you're underage and you're not drinking, you lose nothing without starting to drink. I mean, like, it's okay, it's fine. Like,
Yeah, it's
drink
just
responsibly or don't drink at all. You're not losing anything, probably.
yeah. I mean, that is an experience, but did it really make me a better person?
No, it didn't. Nothing in our teens made us probably, in those terms, a better people. But what I meant to say, like, just to this day, the Soviet Union, and let's call it Soviet Union. It's not Russia. It's not a free country, nor it's a terrorist state with the same values as they had before. The President Putin or dictator Putin still has his own brand vodka. The traditions remain, and our upbringing it was pretty drunk
Oh, everyone was pretty drunk.
at that one. Like now, it's good, it's sophisticated. Now,
Like
people taste wines, they drink whiskey.
they do these tests,
Yeah,
different whiskeys or what have you. Yeah, it's more cultured nowadays, and people people are less judgmental in terms of not drinking, because when I stopped drinking, people would say, why
What's
are
wrong
you
with
not
you?
drinking? What's
Yeah.
wrong with you?
Are you an
What's the
alcoholic?
reason?
Like, and you said like, I stopped because I don't want it anymore. Like,
Yeah,
why?
and they would
What? What does it mean you don't want it anymore? Like that was a
yeah,
normal occurrence. It wasn't easily
yeah,
understandable or
and
comprehensible.
nowadays, you just say, okay, I'm just drinking a non-alcoholic
Yeah, I
beer.
don't drink.
Yeah,
Ah,
I don't
okay.
drink. That's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine. Nobody bats an eye anymore.
yeah,
So that's a welcome change, really.
yeah. It is. It is. And it's really welcome change. Like, I remember myself, like when people say I'm not drinking, like, why? What's wrong? Why? Do you have problem or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, and nowadays it's completely fine, and I see like my take on that also changed. I don't see why I don't bat an eye why people don't drink. I myself from time to time consider to be sober. I do sober months from time to time, Mm. And I don't see any problem with that. Like, nobody kind of does.
Yeah. Yeah.
But upbringing was quite different. We used to drink in high school while changing for a physical class because somebody started the tradition of bringing a half a liter of vodka bottle into a
Hmm.
changing room if they had their birthday in the weekend or that week. And then
Yay.
us being boys in post-Soviet country would drink half a bottle of vodka
That's a
straight from the
masculine
neck.
thing. That's a masculine thing to do.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
toxic masculinity. And
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
participate, because in our country and how Soviets used to do that, it's not that you pour yourself a drink and have a good time. You
No.
pass the bottle or the glass around
Yes.
in one by one and you toast it to each other. And if you don't participate in that,
You're
or
not
you,
the part of the group.
yeah, and then you're like, why you're not drinking? Like,
What's wrong with you?
yeah, are you
Yeah.
chilling the vodka?
Yeah.
Or are we chilling the
Pass it
vodka
on.
or are we drinking?
Pass it
That's
on.
the
Pass it
saying.
on.
Yeah,
Don't stop.
yeah. Don't warm it up.
Yep.
That was a normal sayings, and that's how we in teenagers used to do that for I don't know maybe 3 or 4 occasions, and then we went to physical, of course.
Yes, because you throw balls better while
Yes,
being inebriated.
exactly.
That makes sense.
Being 15,
Yep.
which
Yep. Yep. Absolutely normal thing.
yeah, and then you would skip a class in on on some occasions when the weather starts to be good and you don't need your jacket, so you would skip a class whatsoever with your classmates, go have a beer from a plastic 2-liter bottles near the river and just enjoy life being 16.
Yeah, it's we're also lucky to live in a city that has a lot of nature in it. Like
Well, I'm from periphery, so I'm
you even
small town.
you have even more, I suppose, of
Yeah,
nature.
and that's only 15,000 inhabitants, and the river, some parks,
Mm.
and fields are like not that far away, and nothing there. Not too many people going and passing around because most of the people are working in one town over.
Well, inside the city.
And
Um,
you, I think, was raised
here,
here in the
yes,
capital,
yes.
so that's
But
quite different, I guess, for you.
no, that's the funny thing, because we would also have this access to nature. Like the place where I grew up, you would have to go 100 meters or so to get into the fields, into the plains. We had a very interesting geomorphological park, let's say, right? It's
I think I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
Where the
yeah.
president lived.
No,
Okay.
not that place, not that place. But you know, it's now kind of gentrified a bit. You have the benches, you have the paths that
Oh,
are
okay.
that don't have trees fallen over them, and the stuff. Back then, you wouldn't have this. You would have to go through it like some kind of a jungle, Hmm?
Unkept, basically.
Yes, yes, and you would go into very steep hills near the river, on all fours, because that's what you could do. And that place had a bit of magic in it, right? So we have a very long cultural heritage of being in touch with nature. Like we have beliefs still remaining from the religion that was before Christianity.
Yeah, pagan times.
Hmm?
Pagan times.
Yes, yes. So, in a way, that cultural heritage allows us to be more in touch with nature in terms of, and I heard from other people saying that people in Western countries, in civilized countries, require effort to understand that a tree is alive.
Really?
Apparently, that's the case.
Really? That's unhinged.
That is unhinged, that people don't have this innate connection that seems so natural for us. And
But they have, like, it's an American saying, go touch grass.
yes, but do you really understand that the
So
grass
I
is
mean, it's
alive?
just a saying, like, okay, without any connection.
Yes, like, do you really understand that beneath the grass there is dirt and there are things living in it, making this whole thing
And
possible?
not the roots and stuff. Like, the
Yes.
tree is definitely living. It's not a creature,
Well, it's
but like
it even
to an
has
extent, what we call creatures.
it,
Like,
but it even has character. Like you have an old oak, and every old oak is a bit different, and they have a certain aura about them.
no, and it's really in our culture having a big oak in a yard or somewhere. It's really respected, and it's really beautiful. Like where
Because
I spent my teenage years, like living in that small town, quite far away from a capital, we were like blessed to have a house and quite a lot of area for a yard, and we have this like in our property we have this 110-120 year old oak, which is really big, and it's probably the biggest tree, like, I don't know, for 3 kilometers or whatever. Like, it's really big and it's in our yard, and it's like always you look, it's an oak, it's our oak, and nobody would dare to cut it down. And it's kind of respectful from very
it's a
deep.
holy
It's not
tree.
that you worship.
It's a
It's not
holy
really
tree.
holy. It's not like really holy tree, but you wouldn't dare.
It's revered.
Yeah. And if you cut down, like, I think whole the neighborhood would notice that and would be
Yeah.
against.
Yeah, because it's an oak. It's something that followed us through the centuries. All of our holy places have oaks in them.
Yeah, and like that oak was 2-3 generations old. Like, it was planted there by somebody, and that oak, like, if it had a memory, it would remember way more than you do.
Yes,
And you're kind of living in the oak's yard and not your yard.
yes. So
The oak is
that's
definitely,
that's a pretty unique thing.
is it like I
It's a-
never thought about it like this.
It is. It is. I mean, probably if you go to the more Celtic areas of Great Britain or the islands, or probably in Ireland as well. So you have this old pagan Celtic belief, which is kind of similar.
I would imagine that everybody kind of naturally had the same feeling.
Well, that's the thing about about having a bubble.
Yeah, probably. Like, for me, it's so natural, like natural beauty, like and having forests and not cutting trees in the forest and not putting trash in the forests. Like, we have that problem. Like, there is certain uneducated people living in small towns with Soviet beliefs that still put trash in the forests.
Yep, that happens.
I hate them and I despise them.
I mean,
But
there are always these people that give people a bad name.
yeah, but generally, I would say, like, everybody here where we live seeks nature from time to time and
Yes.
really appreciates
Well, if
that.
only to grill.
Yeah, but that's also kind of, why do people like grilling so much here
Yeah,
not in
yeah,
their
because
yards.
you know
Like we don't
you go
really
you go
have
to
a
you go.
grill culture like Americans do
Yep,
in the backyard.
yep,
We do grill in the backyards, but then it's an occasion to go grill somewhere in the fields in appropriate spaces. Of course,
yeah.
nobody
Near
does
near
that
the river, near
near.
the lake.
Yeah,
Near water,
near
basically.
water, basically. Yeah,
Yeah,
lakes, rivers, and that's I think kind of quintessential part of our culture, and I believe our neighbors share the same.
yep,
In a lot of ways. Yeah, I never thought that people wouldn't have this belief. The other people.
yep, yep, yep. A cultural bubble, and that's a
I
unique
guess if you're
that's a
raised
unique
up in
thing.
Manhattan,
Yeah, you have only seen
concrete.
concrete,
Yeah,
or this the naturalized park like you have in western cities, like you have trees trimmed.
Central Park vibes,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah,
or
yeah,
Hyde Park, Central
yeah. I
Park.
haven't been to either of them, but I have
I
traveled
haven't
around
either.
Europe, and some of the some of the parks in Berlin, they have a similar feeling. If you go for example to Tiergarten, that's a bit unnatural. It doesn't have the spirit in it, and the place that I was talking about previously, the geomorphological place,
hmm
it really had a spirit about it. If you go there during
But
the night,
I know it's a sacred pagan also part.
yeah,
Yeah, so it was a sacred from very, very old times.
yeah. But the thing is, if you go there during the night, you start to feel kind of uneasy.
Yeah, it's an eerie feeling.
Yeah, yeah, and you just
But it's an eerie place in general.
it is.
It has its vibes.
It has its vibes. It's also a beautiful place.
It's a very beautiful place actually, and it's in a city center.
Yes.
Uh,
Well, not really.
well, it's
Yeah, yeah. But that aside, that aside, if you stop there and listen, even on a clear night, you hear a sound of raindrops going in circles around you, kinda slowly getting closer to you. So that's a very interesting feeling, and you can make yourself think that it's only treetops rustling in the wind. But also, if you let the feeling come to you, you understand that something really is there. In a way, it's a religious experience.
well, I'm not much of a believer in any kind of godly or supernatural, so I'm kind of don't really understand it, but I understand the feeling of eeriness and not being alone and trees being alive and you're full of forest in air quotes and not being alone there feeling,
Mm.
but not from a spiritual or a supernatural kind of way.
So
It's more like when you feel that the nature is alive in a sense, like it's not concrete building,
mm,
but it's full of living things. It's a cohesive environment with rodents, animals, trees, and grass and bushes.
and
And
that is also kind of the thing that gives the place the feeling that there is more to it than just parts of the whole sum.
yeah, like
So that's basically what I'm talking
the
about when I'm
ingredients
thinking
make it
about.
more than the value of the ingredient. The actual product is more than the value of its ingredients.
Yes, yes. So I was not the only one who felt this way. So this was a place
I never
where
went
we
there
would
at
go
night. I
and
guess
drink, burn a bonfire,
when it's not allowed
and
anymore.
yeah, you don't do that anymore. There are exceptions to that, I would feel, but in any case, that was a special place for us as well, because that was, for example, the first place that I walked on uh, embers barefoot.
Oh, you did that. I never did
Yeah,
that.
it's it's actually easier than it looks. Funny thing about that.
I still wouldn't do that.
We will try that one day.
No, you already said we're gonna go biking, which we're definitely not going.
So
Embers, I might agree.
add that to the list.
No, I'm not adding that to the list.
Fair enough.
But you also had a story to share.
Yes, and that was what I was steering towards to. So that place being a bit special for us in a spiritual sense, we had a strange belief, my best friend and I, that that entity that was living in that forest as a sum of all the things, we could make a deal with it. Like we could take a
Don't
frozen
tell
chicken.
that you are going to talk about sacrifices.
You would take a frozen chicken from, and we will bleep it. You would take frozen chicken. You would go to the deepest depth of that place. There is an old oak, and you put it, the naked chicken, underneath it, and you go to sleep. And when you're awoke, you're not you anymore. So that was a concept that has haunted me for years.
Concept of
Chicken shit. Like the dissolution of self and being replaced with other. Like the ultimate individuality thing, throwing yourself away and becoming the other in a very individual sense. And recently, I have had a very strange and different thought. The antipode of the chicken shit concept. So the day was very bright. The sky was very blue. I was hiking through another place which has pretty steep and high hills and the white snow underneath my feet and the blue sky ahead and sun shining so brightly I wanted to raise my hands and praise the sun because I haven't seen sun in a month because of the weather. And I came upon a concept of taking vegan falafel kebab, still warm, the whole thing, and going up the highest hill, climbing up the highest tree, and putting it on the top. And what happens then is that you don't get to go to sleep and you become whole with everything, as an opposite of throwing yourself away and getting replaced by something other. You become, without replacing yourself, the other, which is all around you. So that was a strange thought.
by
And
sacrificing a falafel kebab
yes,
on the highest hill
yes,
near the biggest tree.
the absolute opposite of dark ritual.
Well,
You
the
have
first ritual isn't even dark. You just bought a frozen chicken from the shop and put it on in the bottom of the oak, and then you have the antithesis, or is it antithesis? I don't know.
Antithesis, yes.
And then taking a falafel kebab,
Yes.
vegan one, yeah,
Yes.
and putting up in the highest place that you can find near the biggest tree, and becoming whole with what Gaia, everything,
Yes.
like enlightenment,
Yes, exactly.
enlightenment from a falafel kebab.
Yes.
That's definitely not Buddha was trying to strive for.
No. No, I don't even know what to call it. That is unhinged.
That is questionably unhinged thought in itself, but it's the US has way worse cults.
Yes, and apparently it was not the Kool-Aid that they drank. It was some other instant drink.
What who drank Kool-Aid?
The Stephen Jones end of the days cult.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Was
not
it
even the
Stephen
most
Jones?
unhinged. I don't know. I heard about some cult like that. There is a better one. I recently found out
Okay.
by my magnificent girlfriend.
Yes.
There is a TikTok dancing cult in US.
A cult.
A cult, a TikTok. Dancing Reels cult. And that's apparently a real thing, and it has a Netflix series.
Okay. Okay, that's
Everything has a Netflix series, apart from us, but a falafel kebab and the frozen chicken sacrifice, which isn't technically a sacrifice. Well, it is. Well, it is, yes. Doesn't have a Netflix series.
No, but I think we could make one. Like if you're in Netflix and you're hearing this, we have unhinged ideas. Please green light us.
Yeah, Netflix, we are here for your money for our falafel cult.
since we actually burned all the bridges behind us.
Yes.
Netflix, you're our last hope.
Yes, please don't become like Spotify or unhinged or be unhinged by billionaires with the political agendas and stuff. Because we want your money, and the falafel cult is something to make a series about.
Yes, at least a pilot.
At least a pilot, yes.
Yes.
I guess on that bombshell, thank you for following. Leave a like, subscribe, enjoy the falafel cult.
Welcome everyone to the falafel cult.
You heard it here first. Falafel cult.
Yes. Become one with everything.
With a falafel sacrifice.
On the highest tree.
On the highest tree.
Yes.
That is an unhinged thought in itself.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. See you around next time.